Traditional Healer with myself, Rachel Navy, aka Villagio Strega. Real quick, I want to talk about smudging today because there's such a fad going on, because it's become really popularized in the last year in particular. Because why? Everybody's searching for meaning. Everybody's searching for higher purpose at this time. You know, when we had time to lock in and think about things and let the planet heal for a moment, people started to soul search, and I think this is part of that movement. So that said, let's talk about smudging. What is it, and what are some of the most common tools you'll see with it? So smudging itself is to cleanse our energetic field. So there's this space around us, an energy field around us, that once in a while we just need to remove some of those low vibrations from. Or we could smudge a place, we could smudge an object, we could smudge a person. It's all about releasing, again, that negative energy. And some plant medicines, some tools for smudging may be used differently, such as transmuting energy. How do we move an energy from a negative one to a positive one? So it's also, when we talk about smudging, used to ground oneself or to set a tone for prayer, meditation, any kind of spiritual work that we're about to embark on. Again, removing those stagnant vibes and rebalancing energies a bit. One thing that is very clear when it comes to smudging, though, is what's the intention of it all? What are we trying to accomplish, or the change we're trying to bring about in the effort of smudging? Now, I personally am someone who does smudging every single day, whether it's my personal space when I'm making prayer, or whether it's simply to like clean out the atmosphere of my home, or I bring in a new object into my home. This is something I personally do maybe 2, 3, 4 times a day, depending on when the need arises. When I'm doing shamanic counsel, when I'm doing journey work, I'll be helping others cleanse out their personal space along the way as well. So it's always going with the intention and the purpose of healing, and again, cleaning out that energy. Some tools you're going to find here when it comes to smudging are, of course, feathers. Feathers, of course, are representatives of the air element. Pardon me, and here's one I've made. Let you guys see these. Feathers are the messengers, birds are the messengers of higher realms when it comes to, the external beliefs, the alternative spiritual paths, the alternative spiritual beliefs. And it's the belief that when you burn these plant medicines, when you burn something, it holds a physical representation of that intention or that prayer. So you'll see, often when someone's smudging, they're taking a feather or they're taking a wing, whatever it is, and they're moving that smoke, they're moving that prayer outward, either away from themselves, or they're taking it in. They're taking it and they're covering their space, or they're cleansing the space of others. Depending on the kind of feather, depends on what kind of ceremony you're doing. So, obviously throughout history, we're going to work with the feathers that are of our environment. So here in the North Americas, we'll see eagle feathers, we'll see hawk feathers, we'll see crow, owl. Any feather will truly do, but I want to just highlight more specifically on some of the most important ones. This one here in particular is a goose friend of mine. This one here is a crow mixed with some guinea fowl and maybe some zebra finch and chicken along the way. But these are just as important, but I really want to hone in on some more important ones here. The first one, of course, is the eagle. Highest regards is the eagle feather, especially amongst the Native Americans. That's because eagle can fly highest. Eagle is the most keen in eyesight. Eagle can go closest to the sun, closest to that higher realm. So eagle is more connected with the creator, with the higher spirit. It's a respectful gift to give if you're amongst native tribes, because eagle feathers are typically illegal to possess unless you have a permit to do so or you're doing that higher level of energetic work. But eagles are one of the most respectful gifts you can give in a ceremony or to an elder out of respect. Turkey is another one I want to talk about, and I have a small turkey feather here. But turkey is really special and unique, and one that's really close to my heart when it comes to their personal medicine and using in a smudge fan. That's because turkey is a symbol of sacrifice. Turkey is a symbol of community, of coming together, it's a good feather to use for like an abundance blessing, or in a smudge ceremony, or some sort of ceremony where there's a sacrifice made to man's well-being, or community group kind of thing. They're very, very intelligent, despite popular beliefs about them, and they're very, very kind-hearted and very group-oriented or flock-oriented is the way of the turkey. So again, a very good, strong medicine to have when you're doing those kind of gathering ceremonies, weddings. It'd be a great feather to use, or a smudge fan to use before a wedding. Is turkey medicine, again, to bring that community cohesiveness, I would say. The next one is hawk. Again, one of the highest flying raptors, second runner up to the eagle. It's esteemed for its keen eyesight and ability to soar high, of course. With swift ease, it makes movements. Again, another raptor, so it's illegal to possess without a permit. And hawk's energy is about freeing oneself from self-limiting beliefs and being decisive in actions. So when you want to think clearly, or you want things to move quickly, when you set out that intention, you want to use hawk medicine to have a kind of faster movement or faster forward movement in that effort, especially when smudging. Next, I'll talk about owl. I don't have any out here, but owl is, again, another raptor bird. They are illegal to possess, but you can get a permit to own and possess them. It's another raptor bird, of course, and owl's energy is about seeing through deceptions, seeing through illusions. Having the courage to face dark situations is the way of the owl. Seeing through old wounds. Often owl medicine is used for like deep traumatic wounds that go back to childhood or even sometime past life stuff. When I'm doing counsel and I lay a display of feathers out, if someone chooses the owl feather, I know there's a lot of deep-seated trauma work that usually needs to be done. The next one is crow, and I do have a very old crow feather here that was gifted to me. This is one of two smudge fans I've made with the two crow feathers that I've had. And crow's about sacred law wisdom. It's about universal law. It's a trickster energy, the crow is itself, and it's used for clearing spaces regarding morals and values. So when there's someone who's taken advantage of you, or you're trying to teach a child a lesson and you're cleansing that child's space and you're processing it, crow medicine's a good one to use for that. Crow teaches us to laugh at ourselves, so with that trickster energy. So when you're healing an emotional wound, that it's one of those things where I should have known better, or maybe someone's taking financial what's the word there? What is it? Okay, good. We're going to edit that part, right? taking financial advantage of you, the crow is also a good medicine to use to clear out that space or clear out the vibrations in the home or your space where that occurred. So good medicine is the way of the crow. The other one I wanted to talk about is parrot. Parrot is one of choosing our words wisely, because parrots are so well known for their ability to communicate and repeat. I have an African gray who ends up in a lot of my smudge wands. His feathers do. But macaw in particular is another one. You know, the Amazon tribes often use. It's a very regal feather. It's a very colorful feather. But when it comes to sacred medicine and smudge fans, it's highly regarded because it helps bring back balance with their colorful knowledge and wisdom. And it's also the medicine of creative thoughts. So if you're looking to smudge a space to bring about more creativity, whether you're an artist or you're dancing, something along those lines, parrot feathers may be a good one to throw in your smudge fan when working with those energies. So enough about feathers. Next I want to talk about sacred plants. So we're going to start, of course, with white sage. Here is a fresh, small, but white sage stick. And again, this is something I burn daily. White sage is really the go-to, the most popular. It's from the Mesoamerican Southwest region here in North America. It is for cleansing a space, yes. So when you burn white sage, yes, you're setting the tone for whatever kind of work you're going to be doing. Clear out the atmosphere, releasing those negative vibrations, and again, setting the tone for what it is that you want to work. It's a masculine energy. It's a natural antibiotic, anti-inflammatory, and antimicrobial altogether. So it's a great one to kind of have going in the atmosphere prior to guests coming over, especially during these times. But it's just a really grounding energy, the sage is, in all its forms, whether it's white sage, black sage, wherever you can pick it up. It's a great all-purpose smudging herb. The next runner-up that's become really popularized is the Palo Santo sticks. Again, known as the spirit wood. It's from Central and South America. It takes 2 years after the tree itself has died in order for it to produce these oils. It's got a high feminine energy to it itself. It is the ultimate purifier, I think, is the best way to describe Palo Santo, because not only are you purifying your space, but you're transmuting that energy. So unlike white sage that clears the atmosphere, releases those negative vibrations that you can push out the window kind of thing and see it happening, Palo Santo's one you're going to use when you're like, hey, wait a minute, let me flip that switch and turn this negative energy into a positive one. It encourages that kind of vibrational energy through its aromatherapy. And yes, there is indeed lots of experiments going on, lots of research going on. And when it comes to these two plant medicines in particular with Mayo Clinic, you can check that out for how they affect our nervous systems. So Palo Santo, another go-to. Make sure you get it fair trade because it does have a tendency to be over-harvested. Next one up is Yerba Santa. Yerba Santa, this is a small piece of it. Yerba Santa you don't see a lot up here in the Northeast. Again, it's another Mesoamerican one, feminine energy. In fact, I think it's known as the woman's plant or the woman's spirit medicine. It's used for psychic protection and healing ceremonies, especially those pertaining to women's ailments. Pregnancy is another one. It's used to increase psychic awareness. The other name for it, sorry, is the blessed herb. I just caught it here on my notes. And again, more of a Mesoamerican one, but it's becoming more and more popular. It does have a very unusual smell, very similar to Palo Santo, but nowhere near white sage. So it's not really a grounding herb or medicine to use. It's more of a releasing energy and healing kind of a scent that just it's its own energy when it comes to its fragrance as well. Sweetgrass is another very popular one. Again, very feminine energy. Sweetgrass you always see braided, and this is because it not only represents the braids of Mother Earth's hair, which we think of as the grass itself, but one sweetgrass strand alone will break. So when it comes to its braiding, it's to create, again, community cohesiveness. So, you know, this would be a good one to use with turkey medicine when you're smudging an atmosphere. Very, very sweet vibration, very positive in its energy. It's not transmuting anything. It's simply saying, here is a gift. Here is a positive vibration. Here is nurturing. Here is abundance. When you smell sweetgrass, it has both a calming effect and like an uplifting kind of vibration to it. It's used for celebrations, especially during like graduation ceremonies. You'll see it being offered as a gift. Birthing ceremonies, women's birthing, women's rites of passage, for puberty and etc. And any kind of family gathering where you want everybody to get along, you're going to smudge with sweetgrass, I would say. Next up is white and black copal. So this is, again, truly a Mesoamerican smudge item here. It is classically, it's a tree resin, so it's a solidified sap here. It's a tree resin. It has an amazing fragrance to it. These are very, very large chunks of black copal, and I don't really have any white here, but you will see white Mexican copal as well. So this is said to remove energy blockages, reduce depressive symptoms, so it does have like an uplifting vibe to it as well. You don't need to burn big chunks like this unless you know you've taken the battery out of your smoke detector there, because it will make a lot of smoke. So it's a good one to use in outside ceremonies as well. But it's said to ward off evil spirits, not just negative vibrations, but those other realm beings that may not be for our highest good. It's said to kind of banish, especially the black copal, banish dark energies, ward off evil spirits. Again, South American. It was also used historically to treat skin maladies, especially those that were known to be weeping wounds in particular. And I believe the myrrh also was another one that had that skin use, topical skin use quality to it as well. In fact, I'll move on to some frankincense and myrrh next. I have a little bit in a bag here. And you'll find all of this too in my smudge sets, especially if you get like a deluxe set. I like to put little goodies in here like this. So if you've never seen frankincense and myrrh, this is of course talked about in the Bible. This is one of the gifts from the three wise men to Christ. And the little kind of yellow nuggets here are the frankincense, and the browner ones are the myrrh. Now, classically, again, myrrh was used as a topical treatment, heated up and used as a topical treatment. And these two are tree resins, saps that solidify, but when they're boiled down, they were made into salves. Today, I even make a product. You can see neuropathy relief oils and topical treatments all the time with frankincense and myrrh, because it's both hitting your nervous system as an anti-inflammatory and doing its thing on the surface. So in the metaphysical realm, it's used to enhance spiritual connections, because it's that raising of a vibration, because it's doing that kind of healing work, metaphysical healing work as much as physical healing work. This too, frankincense and myrrh also are antimicrobial, antifungal, I believe, in their use, or at least they're antimicrobial, anti-inflammatory. So again, when those smells hit you, elevating our senses, elevating our vibrations, so we have a more positive outlook. But this one in particular is for more spiritual use. So it's a good one to burn before prayer, before meditation, and before journey work, of course. Next one up is mugwort. I have a small sample of mugwort. Mugwort to me is the comical use one. But mugwort used to be used in things like mead back in the day before hops was added to beer. Its properties are interesting because every time I see it in use, I think huffing fumes over at Delphi when the oracles would huff fumes at Delphi. Mugwort has been known to have been used very similarly in its burning use because it has a mild hallucinogen effect. Definitely one also that has antifungal, antibacterial properties. It was known as the poor man's tobacco. It's been combined with tobacco before as well. It's a great one in Chinese medicine. It's often used in Chinese medicine for moxibustion therapy. So moxibustion in the Chinese medicine world, moxibustion is one when you have cold, damp heat, like let's say bronchitis or an arthritis that acts up when it's cold and damp out. Moxibustion would be placed on top of the acupuncture needle in a little ball and burned at the site you wish to release that blockage. It can also be used, sometimes you'll see moxibustion sticks that can also be burned at the site of where the correlating blockage is to what organ, and it'll help release that energy as well. But mugwort's a great one, again, to enhance spiritual energies, unblock energies from the environment or from your space, and kind of enhance those visions in general when you step into the trance world or the spirit realms. I don't have any dragon's blood. I'm seeing that one out. Cedar I don't have out on the table, but cedar's a really important one here because it's indigenous to the northern regions, removes negative energies, and a very powerful healer for increasing self-esteem. Tobacco, I can't not talk about tobacco when smudging. Tobacco is probably the most widely known, historically used plant medicine there is. Again, connecting communities. It's a medicine for the spirit, really. So both for our own spirit and for connecting with others is the use of tobacco a great gift to give prior to all the carcinogens and chemicals that were put in tobacco as we use either in pipes or in cigarettes. It really was often used as an anti-inflammatory for bronchitises and consumption. Sometimes you see it blended with lobelia or woolly mullein throughout history, but tobacco was a great one back in the day. And then eucalyptus, tobacco I also have to just say a quick thing about. Anytime I go out to honor, or somebody goes out to honor their ancestors, or when we're gathering things, we always want to leave an offering of tobacco in gratitude. Again, it's one we share for our spirit and other spirits and cohesiveness, community cohesiveness. So it's really important to give a little offering back, even a pinch of tobacco when you're doing any kind of spiritual journey work or taking a plant medicine. Always ask permission and leave that little offering of tobacco. Eucalyptus, I don't have here out on the table either, but eucalyptus is a great one for enhancing balance and harmony as well. It promotes right actions and transmutes energy, much like the Palo Santo, for what is best. So if there's a truth in a situation, whether we want it to be the truth or not, eucalyptus is one you can burn to bring in on the qualities or through meditation or prayer or the smudging itself to say, hey, you know what? I have this idea in my head, but if it's not what's best for me, please accept this and allow me to accept what is best for me too. It's the plant of seeing the truth in the situation, truly. So I hope you enjoyed these plant medicines, these tools here. I'd love to talk more about it sometime. You can always reach out to me. All my information's here. And hey, enjoy and happy smudging.